Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha, this is Jeeves here, your old composer here at the Decomposer Lounge, dissecting your favorite track suggested to me in an awfully long list of music I still have to get to. And this is a brand new band for me, Beyond Creation. I am doing Omnipresent Perception, kind of in line with, I believe, I try to do a little bit of homework now, at least look up the band or what they are in association with. So, you know, this is going to be some pretty heavy work for me to dissect. I want to thank you guys like usual. I'm going to get to this really quick. Cup of coffee, where's the link? Down below. The headsets, also for their Spotify and also my Patreon. You want to check out the Patreon? You know, if you don't want to maybe buy me a cup of coffee, but you want to come to Patreon for a month and get a bunch of stuff for a couple dollars, that's also there if you want this one and so forth. Okay, let's do this. Beyond Creation. Oh, my headsets. Omnipresent Perception. All right. First thing I gotta say is, holy shit, that bass. The bass player in this band is just omnipresent perception of like slamming balls. I'm telling you, not only is he in the kind of compositions that I'm hearing here that are very progressive in their riff writing and stuff like that, he's actually, with his approach and the lines that he's playing and the way he's turning around his phrases, even push that a whole nother to the 10th power, because that's all I'm listening. And the tone of the bass, as we listen through this, listen to the tone of the bass, the round, but yet it's round. What I mean by width, it's not compressed and smashed into a little signal like this. They gave it a really wide open pocket by virtue of the guitar riffs that are hard left, hard right. Great riff writing. The drumming of, you know, you get to a place when you listen to bands like this that there is no shitty musicians, right? You can't be. You don't pull it off. You know, these guys are just absolutely killing it. But I'm sorry, I had to glam on the bass really quick. And then the vocals. I'm still in awe after doing this channel now 9 months. And when I hear this and the capabilities of that. But I also like the fact that the way they engineered, you know, his growling, screaming performance too is extremely rich. I'm going to keep going, but I just had to come in really quick and just say, my gosh, that bass playing and those bass turnarounds are absolutely mental. All right, let's go. musicianship in this is absolutely flawless. Like I said earlier, you get to a point when you listen to musicians like this and compositions like this that there's no other way. There's no measurements, because that's not what I do on this channel. I don't measure talent or creative works, on somebody else I've heard. Sometimes you hear me say, well, sounds like there's an influence or something here. This is, I think, as I'm beginning to learn more, I've got so much more to learn in the metal and the different genres and stuff. I'm beginning to hear similarities in genres. Obviously that's what a genre is, right? There's a particular way that the musicians and the band members, perform and compose their work, and then they sit in a pocket in a genre. But every time I listen to this, and what I do in my mind is, as a composer, I listen to these lines and I say, God, what if this was written in like a small orchestral composition style? Having the violins would be doing this and that. I mean, that for me, I kind of take that and I go, man, this is not complex stuff. This is intense composition and stuff. Once again, they lock themselves into their patterns. I like how they go into cut time. I liked how they did syncopation. They threw me off. Even though the tempo seemingly slows down, the meter is still pretty straightforward, but there's syncopation that goes on in the arrangement. At least that's what it feels like to me. And then the arpeggiations that they're holding and stuff like that. Apparently it's going to be 2 guitar players, I believe. If it's not 2 guitar players, then obviously there's a lot of layering going on in order to get the harmonies on left and right and stuff like that. Plus a couple of chords that are being held down in the background, just to give it a little bit of because the drummer and the bass player and the guitar players with their dotted 16th note, just I like the fact that every now and then there was a power chord that was held out. Kind of gives you something to hang on to through that journey and stuff. But I don't know. I listen to this and at some point it was starting just to evoke metal theater for me. Like in my head, since there are no vocals, it becomes an instrumental during that last passage that we just heard. And then for us, the thoughts that come to our mind, what does that represent? Is it a fight? Is it like, death war, I'm gonna kill? Or is it like whatever? I mean, but it evokes, theater of the mind and stuff. So, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Fretless bass, is that what he's doing this composition on, playing on? I mean, come on. I've only played fretless bass a half a dozen times in my life just because of the sound that I needed from, a composition. And fretless anything, that's why violin players, cello players, all the string instruments and stuff, in orchestras and stuff like that, everything has to be so precise. And he's doing this in fretless, and it's just crazy. It was just mind-numbing. I bet you just saw me just like have complete chiropractic adjustment, because I was like, what the fuck? Now it all makes sense. When I started off blamming on the bass, and then it comes to this and the sound, the whole thing. And now I'm hearing how he played these last phrases that he did. And then listening to the richness of the sound, now that I went, okay, this was on a fretless bass. This is why. And you know, if you're not a musician, the tone that a fretless bass is completely unique unto itself. And so when I had said earlier, wow, the width, the warmth of it, without me really kind of dialing into that, the fact it was fretless, all came into fruition and bloomed in my creative listening mind. That's the reason why the sound was so bold on the bottom, you know, when it came to the bass playing. Once again, you know, my first experience here with Beyond Creation in the track is Omnipresent Perception. For me, my first experience with them is the fact that they really have nice stretches of instrumental composition, as well as the power of the vocal performance. You know, the lead singer, lead growler, I don't know, lead singer, and I love the tone of that. You know, I'm as a musician too, and as I learned what growling was or that type of performance, I also, by virtue of understanding just a little bit of how the voice works and how the voice is embodied in different sized individuals that have different sized mouths and different capabilities, that I can actually detect unique and isolate the tones, even of the growls. Were they coming from deeper from here, or are they firing that energy up higher in the mouth and it sounds a little higher mid-range and stuff like that? Or are they opening their mouth really wide when they do the growling and it gets a really wide sound stuff? I really love the way this sounds. Anyhow, guys, this is my first experience, Beyond Creation. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'm going to kind of stay on this trend this week of the heavier metal. I know yesterday when I opened up with Bon Iver, I believe. I loved it. I thought, you know, I like you guys coming through this, and I know that a lot of, you know, percentage of my videos don't perform well, but you know me, I'm going around, man. I'm appreciating the world of musicianship, composition, writing and stuff, and how I go from Bon Iver to Beyond Creation should be proof of that, right? All right, guys, thank you so much. Buy me a cup of coffee. You know, these videos don't monetize my channel. Headsets, link will be in there. Coffee, link will be in there. Beyond Creation, Spotify will be there. And my Patreon channel will be there. The link is below. Take care, guys. Aloha. All right.